Welcome to round 5 of the Regulator Systems Queensland Sportscar Championship, coming to you from Lakeside Park Raceway. We have qualifying for the round 5 of the Queensland Sportscar Championship. Max Gasser showing signs of engine problems with smoke from the back of that car. Rings on number 2 piston just not bedding in properly, and he was later to retire the car and go home to start rebuilding a motor. Phil Holzberger, and he finished up qualifying second with a 51.6 second lap. In the V8 Radical, he was later to find some problems with an oiling issue. Off the track there, trying so hard to get that car around there, but he was later to find that he was unable to continue because of that engine problem.
Not the happiest man at the moment. I missed the last round, which was not good, and this round I thought I'm coming back, and I've had a new clutch put in the car and gearbox seals and engine seals and everything done ready, and I've got an oil leak. So I'm not exactly sure because my mechanical skills are probably less than yours. If I was a Formula 1 driver, I'd jump in my helicopter and fly out of here, but no, I've got to get my wife's four-wheel drive and drive out of here.
The start of race 1 for round 5 of the Sportscar Series. Alex Kenny gets the jump on Damien Meneguzzo, followed by Patterson, followed by Salento, and they charge down into the carousel corner. Off the eastern loop, onto the straight. Kenny is holding a good gap on Meneguzzo. Patterson being challenged here by Salento. Salento dropping into the slipstream. Don Miles there trying to make up ground. Kenny still being chased hard by Meneguzzo. Patterson being challenged here by Salento, and hot on their heels is Donnie Miles. Neville Mackay, he's coming through and trying to put a move on Bruce Chamberlain in the Westfield XTR2. Brian Pettit there, and bringing up the rear is Alex Nicolaitis. Patterson still with Salento trying to find a way through, and close on their heels is Donnie Miles in that Jedi sports car. Chamberlain being chased by Neville Mackay. Peter Hill bringing up the rear of that little group. Neville Mackay trying to put a move on Chamberlain, followed by Fing, Croston and Hill and Garner. Kenny opening up a great lead over the following cars, and without any challenge coming from Phil Holzberger, Kenny's got pretty much the race to himself. Patterson still being followed by Salento. Mackay has actually got past Chamberlain. He's got through, obviously through the carousel corner. Class A cars have pulled out a sizable gap on the following cars, which are Class B cars here with Patterson and Salento, and a Class C car. Don Miles is really showing the way with this Class C car. He's not supposed to be that quick. On to the last lap, and Alex Kenny has a sizable gap now over the following cars. In fact, nobody's anywhere near him. Damien Meneguzzo had a suspension failure and has dropped right out. Patterson coming down here now, just passes Meneguzzo, trickling around. Salento still challenging. Salento pulling out of the draft, and he is going to make a pass, and he does so. He just pips Patterson into the last lap. Neville Mackay comes through to take the last lap board, as you can see. Don Miles now challenging Patterson, so I wonder if Patterson's got a problem there. Croston trying to find a way past that Clubman of Fing, and Peter Hill trying to hang on to the back of that. Alex Kenny, he gets the checkered flag, with a comfortable win and the maximum points that he could have achieved. He's followed by Salento, Class B car Patterson, Class C car is Donnie Miles in that Hill Climb Special Jedi. Stay tuned for more racing following the break.
Regulator Systems, Australian success in an international market. To overcome the limitations of imported controls, Regulator Systems began designing and manufacturing their own range of control products, designed specifically for Australian conditions. While others have come and gone, Regulator Systems continues to design, manufacture and service control systems for the air conditioning industry, nationally and overseas. Regulator Systems, an Aussie success story in a highly competitive world market.
Race 2 of the series, green flag goes. On board with Alex Nicolaitis following Brian Pettit, and we've had a big moment with Chris Fing getting all out of shape and going off to the left into the kiddie litter. That forced Bruce Chamberlain to take evasive action, and he in fact followed Chris Fing into the gravel pit. So following that skirmish going into the carousel corner in race 1, we've got a complete restart, and we're led out of the pits by Alex Kenny, followed by Simon Salento in that Radical car. Ready for a start again. Race 2 of the Sports Car Championship, and green flag. Off the back of Kenny's car, Patterson trying to find a way through on Salento but doesn't manage it as they stream down into the first corner, which is carousel. Down through from the carousel down towards Hungry Corner under Dunlop Bridge, and the cars are strung out now. Kenny stretching out a lead now. Looks as though he's just untouchable in this race. Salento pulling out a bit of a gap there on Patterson, who's fending off Miles in that little Clubman car. Salento followed by Patterson, Miles, Mackay, Chris Fing, Richard Croston, followed by Peter Hill, Pettit and Nicolaitis bringing up the rear as they head down into the bottom of the hill. Chris Fing, he's being challenged by Richard Croston, who's really looking for a way past now. Challenge has been on for that whole lap by the look of it. Croston chasing Chris Fing, still hasn't found a way around, and in fact the power of that car that Fing drives just takes him away on the main straights. Alex Kenny back onto the straight again, pulling out this lead that is not going to be challenged by anybody else. This really is a very quick car, and he actually can't drive it too much slower because he loses all of the aero downforce and the car becomes uncontrollable. Salento goes through, followed by Patterson again, followed by Don Miles, still looking for a way through, and Neville Mackay not really closing up much of a gap there. The little green hill climb car, gee, he's showing some great speed with Don Miles behind the wheel. Alex Kenny coming back up again, and you can see just how much in control of this race he is. He's dominated this race as he has the previous ones. Patterson still trying to keep Don Miles behind him, but being challenged on almost every corner. Down onto the straight for the last time, and there you can see going through the frame is Alex Nicolaitis in the Clubman, and Alex Kenny in the Chiron coming up towards lapping Nicolaitis. This has been an absolute domination of this race by Kenny. Peter Hill up into Eastern Loop, trying to find a way past Chris Fink, followed by Brian Pettit in the other Clubman. Kenny comes round to do the final lap of this race, off the Eastern Loop and down to the checkered flag. Simon comes round to finish his race, holding down second place pretty well. Patterson still holding off the challenge by Don Miles in that little Clubman car. Alex Nicolaidis finishes his race prior to being lapped by Alex Kenny, and that's the way in which they finished.
I'm here at my very first race meet ever. This is the Radical SR3. It's my third time in this car, and I'm just giving it a good go. Well, it was full of oil, and I did have a little moment out there which scared the you-know-whats out of me. But as Chris said, I did do a lap, my personal best, 54, which I've never got below 55 before, so I'm pretty happy with that. It's got a 1500cc engine, and I just get in and hold on. That's it. I've had a little bit of coaching, but when they say you have to go flat out through the kink, flat out up the top and flat out down there, not a chance. Not a chance.
Well, it started off really well. We went out for quali. It was a difficult quali. We had a bit of oil on the track, bedding in some new brakes, and had a new set of rear tyres and an old set of fronts, so it made it interesting. But managed to get pole, which gave us a good start for the rest of the weekend. Unfortunately, our nearest competitor, Phil, in the V8 Radical had an issue, so made race 1 and 2 a bit easy for us. But all in all, it's been good fun, and so far it's going so good. So touch wood, it keeps going. So this year we're running the Chiron number 22 regulator system Chiron. It's got a Ford Duratec 2-litre in it. Runs a 6-speed sequential paddle shift gearbox. Awesome aerodynamics. Awesome braking capabilities, and we're slowly developing the car better and better every weekend at the moment. It's getting quicker and quicker, so yeah, it's from where it was to where it is now, we're actually finally improving the car over the last couple of years, so it's really good.
So here we are, Sunday morning and a bright and beautiful day. Donnie Miles in the little Clubman hill climber car carrying a camera for us today. Here we have the race start with Kenny. He's out in front and heading into the kink and down towards the carousel, and right behind him is Simon Salento in that Radical car. Stuart Patterson is being challenged on the outside here by Donnie Miles in that Jedi. Brian Pettit being overtaken by Bruce Chamberlain in the Westfield X-Car T2. They head down towards Dunlop Bridge with Alex Nicolaidis following up. Kenny down into Hungry Corner. This is a really fast corner and you've got to get it right. Through, gets the apex and up into Eastern Loop, and gets the power on fairly early along with Salento, Patterson, Don Miles and Neville Mackay. Alex Kenny, followed by Salento, Patterson, Miles and Neville Mackay. Neville Mackay trying to put a move on Don Miles. The extra torque of that Ford motor gets him past. There he goes, right past Don Miles, who is driving this 1000cc car like it says, like he just stole it. Into the corner we go, and he's trying hard to stay with Neville Mackay, who in turn is trying to find a way up to and past Patterson in the Manetti. This time it's closed up with Donnie Miles chasing Neville Mackay down, looking for a way round. They're followed by Chris Fing, followed there by Bruce Chamberlain and Brian Pettit. The gap closed right up with Neville Mackay really chasing hard and looks as though he's going to try and get past. Don Miles, he's following Neville Mackay through. Mackay didn't get the move on Patterson, but he's still very close. And this camera angle doesn't do justice to just how close these cars are together. Don Miles with his 1000cc car keeping up with the 2-litre Ford Cosworth motor. And so back onto the straight comes Alex Kenny, stretching the lead out over Simon Salento in that Radical SR3. And from the rear of Alex Kenny's car, you can see the huge gap that he's got. The other three, two Class B cars, followed by a Class C car. And maybe that Class C car has to go up a class. He's showing such a good turn of speed. The cut-off point for Class B cars is 58 seconds. Donnie Miles is actually doing much quicker than 58 seconds, so probably needs to go up a class. Alex Kenny back through the carousel. You can see it's a double apex corner. You've got to clip that apex on the right, let it drift out to the left, and then you come down this rather steep hill into Hungry Corner, which is a very fast corner. And once again, you accelerate up the hill into Eastern Loop, as Alex has just done. You've got to be careful though, because this track can bite you so easily. Alex Kenny back onto the straight, followed by Salento, and they're followed by Patterson coming onto the straight. Pulled out a bit of a gap on Mackay this time, and Donnie Miles trying to get into the slipstream of that Malik. The yellow Malik pretty quick down that straight. Neville Mackay in this Malik Clubman. It's quite an old car now, but still going very well. Hello, I think we've got a problem here with Donnie Miles. That 1000cc motor, I think maybe we heard something go really wrong there. He's slowed dramatically. Here comes Patterson, followed by Neville Mackay, and sure enough, look, there's Donnie Miles with smoke out of the back of that car. I'd say Donnie Miles has blown a motor on this car, crawling along there, hands up now. He's looking to get off the track. No, he's not allowed to go over there. He shouldn't be crossing those unbroken white lines. He's got back over to the side of the track on the left so that he can get off and get into the area behind the crash barriers and pull up. It looks as though he's got a major problem with that car, and his racing is finished for this day, I would say. We've got the fire truck coming out. Oh, flames out of Donnie Miles' car, and he's still sitting in it. I'm surprised he hasn't got out of that car yet. The car's on fire. He should be out looking for an extinguisher. He's got to wait until the track's clear. It is now, and he's got to cross. The fire marshals are on the job there. They've doused that fire. And Donnie Miles only now just getting out of the car. That really is surprising.
Well, got off to a good start. I think it was 4 laps into it, going around Eastern Loop, and lost pressure, just bang, onto the straight. And consequently caught fire, and appears that I've put a hole in the engine.
We'll be right back with more action from Lakeside Park Raceway, so stay tuned.
Regulator Systems, Australian success in an international market. To overcome the limitations of imported controls, Regulator Systems began designing and manufacturing their own range of control products, designed specifically for Australian conditions. While others have come and gone, Regulator Systems continues to design, manufacture and service control systems for the air conditioning industry, nationally and overseas. Regulator Systems, an Aussie success story in a highly competitive world market.
So there are the cars. They've out on the grid, they've done their warm-up lap, and here we have the race start. Salento on the outside trying to find a way up past, and there you see Neville Mackay got past Patterson and just closed over and kept him out. So Mackay takes third place, Patterson chasing him down with the Class C cars coming up behind. Kenny stretching his lead over Salento in the Radical, and into Hungry Corner, coming up the hill and accelerating up into the Eastern Loop. Kenny, followed by Salento, Mackay, Patterson. Patterson looking for a way to try and get back in front. Brian Pettit putting a move on here to get past Bruce Chamberlain as they go down into Carousel. It looks as though Mackay has just been able to find some better handling in that car for this race. Bruce Chamberlain chasing Chris Fing pretty hard and looking for a way around. And Bruce Chamberlain not making much of an impression. The order remains the same with Kenny out in front, followed by Salento going through on Eastern Loop, followed by Mackay, who's actually pulled out a bit of a gap now on Patterson. Perhaps Patterson has had a bit of a problem somewhere. Chris Fing in the Clubman, he's being chased by Bruce Chamberlain, who's determined to try and find a way around him, and so far unable to do that. He's right on the back of Fing's car, which has extraordinary speed in the straight line. I'm sure Bruce Chamberlain would love to get past and probably could do some quicker laps were it not for Chris Fing being in front of him. Chris Fing, he's gone through and there's no Bruce Chamberlain here. Something must have happened with Bruce Chamberlain at some stage, and here's Bruce Chamberlain coming through now, followed by Alex Kenny. So Kenny coming up to lap him. So I don't know what's happened to Bruce, but obviously something to slow him right down. His lap time dropped off from the normal 60 seconds back to a 1:23 on that lap, so something's obviously gone wrong for him. Bruce Chamberlain just avoiding being lapped by Alex Kenny, who now takes the checkered flag, followed by Salento, and then a gap back to Neville Mackay with... oh look, Neville Mackay, he must have missed a gear or something there. Patterson's just pipped him on the line. So Neville Mackay having a moment there for some reason or other. I can only imagine it must have been a missed gear, and he's found a box full of neutrals.
My car's a kit car from England. It's called a Westfield XTR2. Runs a Hayabusa, Suzuki Hayabusa engine. Completely standard, but that's quick enough for me. And it's still under development in terms of the car, so yeah, it's all good fun. The whole track is great. Before I drove here, everybody raved about the old Lakeside, and John Tetley's done a fantastic job, and everybody either loves it or hates it, but majority love it. It's a driver's track. You've got to pay attention all the time. One little blinko and you, oh, hello, not in the right line or gone too deep. It captures your attention.
Well, this is actually a 1968 car, and it hasn't been evolutionised too much, and it's really the basis of all the club racing in UK. They did over 40 years of the same formula in UK, and we're trying to carry on the tradition here in Australia. We get a lot of competition from the big iron. They believe that V8s are the only cars ever built, but we believe that 4 cylinders are in the plan as well. I had a completely new car in some respects, and so with new tyres I was looking for tuning the car to the weekend. And as you can see, if you look at the lap times, the car has got quicker, and the old boy's forgotten how to drive slowly, so it's worked out quite well.
Let's go now to a few laps of Lakeside Park Raceway with Stuart Patterson in his Manetti SSV1 sports car. We've just been released from the dummy grid, and this is a sighting lap, or warm-up lap, and what I'm trying to do now is generate as much heat as I can into the tyres. Get some heat into the brakes. This is the allocated grid position. I'm third on the green flag. have Neville Mackay on my left. So I really want to try and get into turn 1. Keep Neville Mackay out. So we're waiting for the green flags up now. I'm waiting. Third gear. Go! Neville got across in front of me. That's a good move by Mackay with the acceleration that car has got. Patterson following hard and trying to stay with Mackay. It is Kenny, followed by Salento, followed by Mackay, Patterson, Chris Fing in the Clubman, followed by Steve Garner, Bruce Chamberlain and Alex Nicolaitis. Down the hill, coming down here towards Dunlop Bridge, under the Dunlop Bridge, down into Hungry Corner, Steve Garner and Bruce Chamberlain, who's trying to make up for that disappointing finish from the last race, which meant that he had to start rear of field. Salento here trying to chase down Kenny, and Patterson trying to do the same thing with Mackay. That's a bit messy. Mackay holding out Patterson going through Eastern Loop. They're going to be followed by Pettit once again. He's hanging on to that spot in front of Steve Garner and Bruce Chamberlain, with Alex Nicolaitis trying to stay in touch with that group. Neville's got to play that. Brian Pettit goes through. He's opened up a bit of a gap on Steve Garner now, and it looks as though Alex Nicolaitis is closing the gap up onto the back of Bruce Chamberlain. So that's Bruce Chamberlain. Bruce Chamberlain has actually caught and passed not only Pettit but also Steve Garner. So we come to the end of the race here. That's following 8 laps, and the winner, of course, was Alex Kenny, followed home by Simon Salento in the Radical. They were followed home by Neville Mackay in the Malik, and chasing him into that spot was Stuart Patterson in the Minetti. Well, there was 8 laps. Just couldn't get near. Couldn't catch him. Alex Kenny on 432 points. He's well ahead of the other Class A cars. In Class B on the total point score is Stuart Patterson in the Minetti SSV1. He's followed by Neville Mackay now, and Bruce Chamberlain with 276 points. In Class C, Brian Pettit has a commanding lead over Peter Hill, due to Peter Hill's bad luck, followed in third place by Don Miles, who has 210. That concludes our coverage of the Regulator Systems Queensland Sportscar Championship. Congratulations to the place getters of the 3 classes, and also to all drivers who treated us to such an exciting and eventful weekend. Round 6 will be coming to you from Queensland Raceways near Ipswich on November the 8th and 9th. For more information on the Queensland Clubman Sports Racers Association and this series, go to www.qldclubmansportsracers.com.